Hey, Big Love fam. Welcome to Super Freak. This is a high vibe podcast, y'all, exploring all things frequencies, how they govern, form, shape our realities, and are the key to living from your full potential. It's non-woo convos about super woo shit, unpacking what I call the science of self, from body and soul literacy to the power of understanding vibration, higher consciousness, quantum physics, and spiritual psych. Let this podcast become a resource for you on your journey to self-mastery. If you're curious and ready to free your mind, unlock the body, and truly become limitless, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Hallie. This is Super Freak, Awakening for the Next Gen. Let's go. All right, everybody, let's dive into this week's episode on manifestation creation. Y'all have been asking me to do this podcast. I'm trying to deliver it to you. I've got a bunch of questions, but I kind of want to just riff on this episode a little bit and just kind of talk to you like friend to friend for a second about what manifestation is and where we get really tripped up, because I hear you, I see you, the math ain't mathin'. Our lives on the outside don't quite match what's happening for us on the inside and the expansion that we've had on the inside. I really, really, really get that. But here's the tea. The density that we are in right now, with the amount of realities that are always constantly shifting and changing for us, is extremely intense. Like the density is very, very dense, and the lightness that some people are feeling is really, really light. But sustaining that lightness, that expansion, is not practical here. It doesn't work like that because we have form. So we're constantly pulsing, constantly expanding and contracting. And when it comes to manifestation, it really does take focus and trust and patience, which many of us do not have. I get that. Some of you are new to what this journey is. You're just getting into pattern recognition and frequency work, and welcome. You know, some of you guys have been on your journey for a really long time. But the good thing is this language set and this new availability of consciousness is really, really sharp, and it's precise, and it's really efficient. So we can manifest faster than we've ever been able to do before in the past, which is really exciting. Actually, I'll say within this blockchain of consciousness, and I'll talk about that in a second. I will say this, the most important thing that you can do with manifestation is to visualize, sense, feel, know, or have an idea of something that you want to experience, and then move towards being the person that you need to be in order to experience the thing that you want to experience or create. So let me first talk about like kind of the mechanics of manifestation. And I have an entire series on this on the shop. So if you haven't bought that yet, go do it. In the meantime, let's talk about what is actually happening. So manifestation, we think, because most of us have started down some aspect of New Age, right? We've gone to shops, we've started with tarot, or we've started with Dolores Cannon, which I never did, or Abraham Hicks, which I also never did. Like none of that stuff really resonated with me. So I always went to the science, and I didn't really find a whole lot of like nurturing there either. So what I'm going to talk about and what I teach is literally a combination of everything I've learned and then had to unlearn and then relearn, and through my own trial and error. Literally the work that I'm doing now is my own operating system. It's a body of knowledge that I'm able to expand into within myself, where I originate from, and then have created an operating system and still creating it in real time with you guys. So this manifestation process is specific to aspects of what I've experienced myself, and then how I observe you guys doing it. So we're really in co-creation together, and that's at the heart of what manifestation is. But the mechanics goes like this. Everything is energy. Everything is a waveform. There's literally, beyond the veil of time, anything that you believe to be true here will present itself beyond the veil. Okay, let's say you drop the body and you move into a different coordinate of time, right? Like you die. your awareness. That awareness moves beyond this construct, this mental construct of the mind, all of these constructs that have created this level of density here. And everything you believed here, so you're in less fear about basically being dead, is created through an AI projection on the other side. So if you believe in Jesus here, Jesus will be on the other side. If you believe in Buddha here, Buddha will be on the other side. Exactly. If you have family that you want to meet, family will present themselves because everything is instant there, everything happening all at once kind of thing. We have frames of time here as references. Many Earths are constantly being created in every second, literally like a frame. If you press a shutter on a camera and it goes, that's how many experiences of Earth we are moving into in every now moment, because that is what time and space create. They create a linear experience or a linear framework for us to experience the things that we want to create. So beyond the veil, if you wanted to be in the Pleiades, you could just be there in a second and be created instantly. And that is the power that we have here. But we are so dense and limited by all of these patterns that aren't ours that our own self-trust and belief in ourselves has been really, really atrophied. And we have to build that muscle up. So if you apply the same availability to this level of reality in this 3 to 4D construct that we're in, we operate off of the law of thermodynamics about energy being transmuted and transferred. So if energy is just available to us, like imagine going into an empty room. There's just nothing but white walls, white floors. It's a container. There's nothing in it. And you can create anything you'd ever want to create in that room physically. So how would you decorate the room? That is essentially the idea of waveform being available to you, particles being available, energy being available, light being available, and you can create anything in terms of form. I know this is very macro. I will get micro in a minute. So when you are asking for more money or a new job, or I want to create this type of partnership, I want this person to come into my life, the universe is trying to make sense of that for you. It's trying to create a sequence of people, places, and things in order for you to be able to experience what you want to experience. Because this is an experiential, I'm going to say that word a lot, I'm very sorry. We are here in a body to have interaction. This is the game. We are characters in the game. Everyone has been cast in the movies of our lives perfectly for our evolution, right? In mastery, like it is absolutely precision level mastery. And that goes for everything. That goes for the terrible things we've experienced. That goes for all of it. Like I look back on my life and it was dots connected perfectly. And I have absolutely no regrets other than I wish I would have gone to myself or come to myself a bit sooner. I would have suffered less. But I say all of that because manifestation eventually just becomes something that you let go of. You just let go of trying to create forms so badly to prove to yourself that this shit is real. And we end up frustrated. Or we wake up to the lives that we created when we were asleep and we're trying to real quickly get everything to be back in balance. All of a sudden we want to renovate our homes. All of a sudden we want to move. All of a sudden we want to hurry up and do and change our external environment quickly and so desperately because it is uncomfortable to be in a container that doesn't match the resonant that you pinged up to. So that just goes to show you how quickly you're manifesting, right? You're clearing these patterns, you're expanding into these new versions of yourself so unbelievably quickly. It doesn't feel like that. I know a lot of you guys have felt like, I've been doing the work for so long, Tally, and I was like, okay, so it's taken you 5 years to clear 2,000 years worth of patterns. That's pretty fast, if you ask me. Okay, so back to the empty room. So you're in this room, notice if it freaks you out to not have like a blueprint of where things are going to go. Or I need to go look at references, or I'm going to go on Pinterest and have somebody else's creation, look at other people's creations, and then iterate from there. This is very, very informative. This is very instructive in terms of how you actually manifest. Are you specific? Are you non-specific? Are you spontaneous? Do you need steps? Just ask yourself, what kind of manifester are you? How do you learn? What makes you feel more comfortable? Where did you learn that learning process? If you can reflect on how you were as a child, what kind of child were you? Were you quiet? Were you observant? And I'm talking like before a lot of the patterns started to get deeply, deeply entrenched. So very instructive. So for me, I was constantly telling stories. I was constantly writing. I was painting. I was wild. So for me, my manifestation, I need to go really big. I just need to like play and dream and hold the container and just go really, really big with it and hold the energy of that, even if there's days where I just don't have the strength to do it. I just have to like kind of act as if and hold that container really, really big, because I would never tell the younger version of me that she cannot do anything. So by me holding the vision for what I want for my life, literally helps me hold the experience and the version of me that I need to be in order to handle the energy of that life. When you're in this empty room and anything is possible, the universe works the same way. So are you overwhelmed in that room? With access to everything, how would you create it? Or you're like, I don't know what to do. I need to think about this. I just need to look at design. And I'm just, are you like that? Because that's what the universe is feeling. The universe is feeling resistance to those things. So do you blow the walls out of that room? And you're like, this is too small. I want it bigger. Did that even occur to you? Did it occur to you to leave the room and say, are there other rooms? Are there doors in those rooms? Because I want doors to be in this room and I want those doors to open into bigger rooms. How creative can you get in terms of availability? That's very instructive when it comes to understanding the subconscious patterns that are running in the background that you might not be aware of, that are hindering you from getting the things that you want. Because it's not about our inability to attract or be the vibrational match. It's about removing our own limiting beliefs about why we think we can't have these things. So act on your highest excitement, right? If you're just a kid and you're just playing, all of a sudden you're like, I want some paint, and paint appears. Think about Alice in Wonderland, how all of a sudden these things just appeared in thought, in an instant. The Cheshire Cat telling her that she needs to do X, Y, and Z, and then all of a sudden it appears, the door appears, that kind of thing. It's instant. Your imagination needs to go wild when you're manifesting. You need to be able to act on the highest excitement, because the universe wants to support high energy and high vibration and higher alignment, right? It doesn't want to support doubt. It won't do that. It will just basically give you more of that resonance in order for you to transcend it, so you can be able to receive more of your own innate and perpetual intelligence. So your emotion, right, your energy that is emotion, is starting to create a algorithm. It's starting to create a mathematical equation for the universe to find an aligning geometry for you to bring that idea into form, right? It's going to create a blueprint. That's what geometry is in the all that is. It's fractaled. It's a fractal geometric shape that represents the codes, light codes, sequences, things like that, of the things that you want to create in terms of experience. Okay. It's not necessarily about objects. It's about experience. It's a vibratory expression. So if you're putting cymatic patterns, okay, if you're putting rice on a plate and you add a frequency, all right, and that frequency creates a shape, that shape represents something. Less about looking for or creating or manifesting a role or an object. That is not what you want to focus on. You want to focus on the beingness, the experience of who you are, of what you want your nervous system to interact with. Okay, so just to recap, there is nothing, all right? You're in a void. You're in an empty room. There is nothing going on. There's nothing there. You can create anything that you want. What does that feel like in your body? Because the emotion of it is the catalyst, because you have to create enough spiritual mass to bring things into form. You have to create enough things to create a structure, a geometric structure. The universe, your highest self, okay, is going to work very diligently to create a sequence for you to be able to experience the person that is in that role that you want, the person that's in the relationship that you want. It's going to create the energetic complement to be able to feel, experience, know all the things that you're trying to manifest in the first place on your vision board. So manifestation is very simple. It starts with energy. That energy catalyzes spiritual mass. Your visualization matters. One of the laws is mentalism. So everything is a mental construct. And those who have merged emotional and mental bodies, which is just a specific level of mastery, meaning we have less limitation around what we want to create. It's less limiting. I am choosing absolutely my life right now. In every aspect of it, I am making a choice. I know exactly why I'm here. Even if I don't know why I'm here, I'm choosing to stay here. So everything becomes a choice. It's very empowering to make that choice. There's no sacrifices I am making to be able to share the things that I'm sharing with you guys. So once you have the energy, right, you want to act on the highest excitement possible in every moment that is leading you towards the visualization that you had for your life, the feeling that you have in your heart, the version of you. You're integrated within that experience of the things that you want to create. Manifestation creation, right, is like I have the thought, and then that thought comes into form. I have this idea, and then those ideas come into some type of matter that I can interact with. So it's energy. That energy creates a sequence of vibration, a sequence of algorithms that then create a geometric shape. That geometric shape is starting to create the blueprint for the instruction. That instruction moves beyond the veil, and then it finds and then breaks into a million pieces, and then starts to quantum entangle you with those things. That's like the best way I can describe it. So the energy starts to align and create a particle intelligence. That particle intelligence comes into form. That form, they all have their instruction. Now it has to come kind of through a funnel, which is breaking beyond the time barrier. It's the best way I can describe it. It has to break up once it goes beyond the veil of time, because otherwise you'd be experiencing everything you'd ever want all at once. And it would just blow your mind, right? That's not what we're here to do. So you have this big vision for your life. It's this huge geometric shape. Just say it's a snowflake, fractal shape. Then it moves through this void, okay? This like column that is you into your sphere, into your actual spirit body, into your sphere of influence, the people, places around you, all of that stuff. And those that are in alignment with you right now will start to create form for you. Those that are not, it's going to help amplify and bring into your life all the things that are not you, so that shape can create itself. Those little particles, that geometric shape, the vision that you want for your life wants to create itself. That is the innate intelligence of very high level vibration. It wants to create itself. It's trying to create itself. 70% of that rendering that you want is there. But let's say you only have the skill set, the mastery, the vibrational alignment, the energy level to be able to handle like 20% of that rendering. And then you act on your highest excitement. You move through the sticky parts. You honor yourself. You lean into the mundane of what this awakening process can be. And then more of that shape comes into form. Makes sense what I'm saying? I hope it does, because I have never heard it explained that way, the way that I had to explain it to myself to kind of teach myself again, because it started to make a lot of sense. I was like, I totally get it. I have placed the order. I am in feedback loop with my highest expression in service only to pure source. Whoever I have on my team is rooting for me friggin' hard. And so I know that all I have to do is just continue to stay the course, act on my highest excitement, lean into these mundane moments, hold the vision, and then play with the field as I go. It will come to pass. It will, because everything that can happen will happen. Essentially, that is the rule of the universe, because everything is possible and we are creators. So the important thing to know is the things that you want to create in your life, not necessarily objective, but experiential. Start with nothing. They get put into a sequence, and then that sequence creates the shape. Everything is geometry. It's all frequency, sound, vibration, and literally geometry, like multi-dimensions. It's all creating shapes. That shape is created, and then it moves through like a big light blast. And it almost refractalizes with a different level of intelligence that's specifically in corresponding relationship with your signature frequency. Here's another level. I'm going to talk about what a signature frequency is in another podcast, but essentially that life that you want to create for yourself has now been assigned to your fractal, your soul fractal. And you can always change it. You can always make augmentations. You can make, let's say, change orders to the sequence, to the original vision that you wanted to have for your life. So you can just be creating instantly in a feedback loop. Let's say you want to add, you have the landscape for the back of your yard and you would like to add a tree over there, a plant over there. You're going to remove that and switch that out. Yes, you can do all of that at any time. However, the original blueprint of that idea that you wanted to create is still intact. I think we'll move on to questions now. First question, you mentioned the geometric experience of manifestation being pushed away when visualizing from the mind only. What is the geometric experience? I will say that most of the time people get tripped up in manifestation because they keep asking for the same thing over and over again. When you keep asking for that, that's desperation vibes. That's desperation energy. And you just literally keep pushing away the geometric shape. It becomes an interference pattern. That's the best way I can describe it. It becomes an interference pattern, and you're actually putting more obstacles in your way rather than allowing the process to unfold. It's less about what the geometric experience is, because this is different for each person. Don't try to manifest the shape if that's not how you manifest, if that's not how you create. I'm just telling you the mechanics of like what's going on behind the scenes so you can have a little bit of context. If visualization boards work for you, then visualize your face off, because the irony is this, and I'm going to talk about the mind. We have the power to create. We need the visualization piece. For a lot of people, they do, except for those who have aphasia, which I think is the inability to visualize anything, which I think is actually a trauma response, which I'll make another podcast about. But just feel what it would be like. If you could imagine something, what would it be like? If you were looking at a magazine and you're like, that looks fun, pull that out. Why does that look fun? What do you feel when you look at that? The feeling experience is a big part of the human experience. So when we want to act on our highest excitement, we need the feelings and the emotions to amplify our perceptions, which is sensory and information. Then we need story and narrative to create the experiential, let's say, pitch, the probability, possibility factor for us. And then we want to actually show up to the party to experience the thing. Because so many of us are fixing to get ready to do something, we never actually friggin' do it. So if you're visualizing only from your mind and you have not attached the body experience to it, then the universe essentially has nowhere to run the original blueprint sequencing through. There's no network. That's why we need the nervous system. The nervous system is a network. The computer, okay, your brain is a processor. It's not a creative producer. The nervous system is actually running the information through the body, and it's running it through the system as if you would look at a frame per frame storybook. It's creating the simulation that we interface with. So that's why we need the emotion, because emotion catalyzes a lot of electrical charge. We need the electricity of this drive that's very masculine, right? And then we need the subtle, beautiful, nurturing container that the feminine holds. It is nature-based. It's in seasons. You cannot tell an acorn to fall. It is going to do so with its own intelligence. So we have to be patient. We have to allow these things to work in conjunction in a perfect, oscillating figure eight shape, infinity shape, moving, creating form, creating this energy, a tide that kind of washes over in and out. It's like pistons, right? Moving up and down, creating these waves of information to come into us that we can handle it so we don't blow ourselves out. You're constantly trying to manifest, create, and you're doing so only with your thoughts, you will blow yourself right into psychosis. And I've worked on people who have done that. And then they think none of it works and they pendulum completely the other way. And then they're, Newtonists. It's less about visualizing only from the mind and worrying about the sequencing and the geometric structure and da-da-da-da-da. It's very controlling. It's a very controlling pattern to have. More about what is fun for you as a kid. Very childlike. Really, that's the key. The more childlike you can be, the more fun you can have with your reality, with things being in a season where they're just kind of slow, the more you will be able to create form like instantaneously. Thanks so much for listening, you guys. Please make sure to leave a review and follow the fun on social media because that's how it works in this world. In the meantime, get your freak on. I'll see you in the next session.